Hi, this is Matthew from truckhealthy.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make healthy chicken and dumplings right in your semi-truck. So let's see what we're going to use today. Before we even get started with our ingredients, let's go ahead and lay down our plastic wrap. I do this with every cooking project. It helps to keep your bed and work area clean. Now we have our work area, which in this case is my bed, covered with plastic wrap. This is going to keep everything clean. Let's take a look at our ingredients. Boneless, skinless chicken breasts, chicken stock or chicken broth, self-rising flour. I'm using coconut oil, powdered milk, various spices such as black pepper, onion powder, crushed red pepper, and salt. The materials I'm going to be using are disposable plates, disposable plastic gloves, a plastic bag which we're going to use to make our dumplings in, and some measuring cups. You don't have to have the measuring cups, feel free to eyeball these. And of course we're going to use our Instant Pot. The first thing we're going to do is put on our disposable plastic gloves. I think I got this for about $1 at Walmart. There are 120 gloves in here. So it's well worth it whenever you're handling raw meat in your truck. So let's put these on and go ahead and add our boneless, skinless chicken breast. This is about 1.6 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. We're just going to add these directly into our Instant Pot, like so. Dispose of these gloves. Let's go ahead and add our chicken broth. I'm using a low sodium chicken broth. We can always go in and add some more salt if it needs. Add all of this. We'll go ahead and add some seasoning. A little bit of onion powder. I like to use crushed red pepper in almost everything I cook. This is completely optional. A lot of the times just some salt and pepper will work out just fine, but this does add a little bit of extra flavor to it. Some black ground pepper. I like to use a lot of this. Just a little bit of salt. I'm going to go with just a very little bit, and if I need to add more later, I can. So now, let's go ahead, put the lid on this, and for the setting, poultry, pressure level, low pressure, it's set for 15 minutes. We'll probably only let it cook for about 10 minutes and check on it. So we'll just let that cook, and while that is cooking, let's go ahead and make our dumplings. For our dumplings, here's what we're going to use. Self-rising flour, powdered milk. Feel free to use some fresh milk if you can get into the truck stop and get some. And we're using coconut oil. And of course, a little bit of water. First thing, have you a plastic baggie. This is what we're going to make the dumplings in. This cuts out having to do any kind of dishes. Self-rising flour. We're going to start off with about 1 cup of the self-rising flour. Put it right there into our plastic baggie. And flour's getting around here. We're making a mess, but we're really not, because we've got our plastic wrap down. We're going to start off with 1 cup of flour. We're going to use more. Get your oil, put about 1 tablespoon in there. 1 tablespoon of oil. Now we'll just close the lid on that and mix it around a little bit. Let's go ahead and add 1 more cup of flour. Close the lid on that, and again, just mix it around a little bit. Next, let's go ahead and add powdered milk. We're going to use about 1/2 of a cup total of the powdered milk. Open our bag right up and put that right in there, just like that. Close the lid, and let's just mix that around. And now, we'll go ahead and add some water to this. We'll start off with about 1/2 of a cup. And of course, we'll just keep adding until we get the consistency that we need. And you just mix that around in there best you can. Let's go with 1 more 1/2 of a cup. Again, close the lid and just mix that around the best you can. At this point, it's a good idea to go ahead, take your disposable plate and line it with saran wrap. Now, if you're using a styrofoam plate, you wouldn't need to line it with saran wrap, but since I'm using a paper plate, it's best that I put saran wrap on it. Take our disposable plate like that, and we'll also go ahead and put on another pair of disposable gloves. Our dumplings have now come together good enough to go ahead and we'll just dump this on the plate here and mix it up the rest of the way. Put that right on there like that. Just like so. And we'll mix that up the best we can. And it looks like we're going to need to add a little bit more flour, and that's just fine. We can do that now. We're going to probably add about 1/4 of a cup of flour until these dumplings form to a nice consistency. Now that they're forming up, we can dump them directly on the plate. No need for the plastic wrap anymore. Maybe we shouldn't have even used it in the first place, but it's always a learning experience when you're cooking in your truck. And look at that. These dumplings, that's about what you're looking for right there. We'll go ahead and mix these the rest of the way. And that's about what you're looking for right there. Let's go ahead and form these into smaller dumplings while our chicken is finishing cooking. It's always a good idea, whenever you're done with the ingredient, let's go ahead and put it up. Keep our work area clean. We don't have much room here in the truck. It makes everything much easier. So all the ingredients we're done with, let's just put these right up. And anytime you need to clean your hands off, it's always a great idea to keep some wet wipes in your truck with you. Just clean my hands off like so. No big deal. Okay, perfect. Now that we have our area clean here, we have our dumpling ball, which is the perfect consistency. Let's go ahead and take another plate and we will just make a bunch of small dumplings. You can make them round You can make them long, whatever your preference. We'll just go ahead and do that now. Perfect, we have our dumplings made up, and as you can see, we do have some leftover flour, and we can just add a splash of water to that. Perfect. All of our dumplings are made. It smells like our chicken is about done cooking in the Instapot. I say it's time to go ahead and take it out and let it cool, and we'll be ready for our next step. Our chicken is definitely done at this point. It looks good, it smells good, and what I'm gonna do, we're just gonna remove these, let them drain, and put them on a disposable plate or bowl to let them cool. We're going to cut them up and shred them up. Looks very good. While these are cooling enough for us to cut them up, what we can do is go ahead and add about another cup or two of water to this chicken broth in here. That's 2 cups. If we need to add more later, we can. We can go ahead and just add all of our dumplings from earlier. Maybe not dump them in all at once. Make sure they get separated. We've added all of our dumplings. Let's put the lid back on. And let's go ahead and cook this. We're gonna put it on the meat stew option. We're gonna only let that cook for maybe about 5 to 7 minutes. That's all it's gonna take for these dumplings to get done. In the meantime, our chicken is over here cooling. Once it gets cool enough, we're gonna take a knife, cut it up, shred it up, and once the dumplings are done, we'll dump that in, add a few more spices, and we'll be ready to eat. It looks like our chicken is cooled enough to go ahead and cut it up. The cutting board's optional. You can just take your knife and cut it up right here in the bowl, but I feel I can do a better job on the cutting board. You should always keep in your truck a spray bottle with a bleach and water solution. It's great for not only cleaning your truck, but sanitizing things like your cutting board and your knife. And we'll go ahead and do that now. Let's give it a quick spray. Give my knife a quick spray. And wipe them down. I'm only using maybe about a tablespoon of bleach for that whole spray bottle. If you'd like to, you can go back and add a little bit of water to that and just wipe it down again. So that's sanitized. It's completely ready for us to cut our chicken on. And look at that. Our chicken is so juicy. It's done. And I just like to shred it up like so. Very juicy, very tender, very delicious. If you want it more shredded, feel free to put on your disposable gloves and get in there and shred it up. But for me, this is just fine. Perfect. And now, I bet our dumplings are about done here. Let's have a look. Yep, look at that. The dumplings are about done. They've swollen up, they absorbed that chicken broth, that water, all those spices. Look at that. That looks delicious. Look at these good looking dumplings here. Look at that. So now, let's go ahead and add our chicken back in here. Take it straight from the cutting board and just rake it right back in here. And this looks so good. It smells delicious. The bowl that we had our chicken in, we'll just go ahead and dump the juices from that right back in there. All of this, we can just throw this away. Now, let's give that a good stir. And as you can see, there is some liquid in here, and that's going to thicken up as it cools. Give that a good stir. And here's what I like to do now. I'm just going to put the lid back on and let that set there for about 10-15 more minutes. After that, we're going to let it cool for an additional 10 to 15 minutes with the lid off, and it's going to be ready to go. We can eat some now, and then we have about 5 to 7 portions we can freeze and eat later on in the week for a quick, healthy meal. This is very inexpensive to make. It's not very hard. It only took me about 20 minutes, okay? So you can do it. It's easy. You'll save money. You'll save time. You'll eat healthier. While our chicken and dumplings are cooling and thickening up, I'll go ahead and clean up. This bowl is still good. I didn't have anything in that. This plate is disposable. I'll do exactly that. Our cutting board and our knife. Go ahead and spray our bleach and water solution on that. Take a paper towel, wipe that right off. Again, we've got our plastic wrap down. We're not making a mess on our bed here. We'll spray our cutting board down. Okay, I've got that cleaned up. For our cutting board, we'll wipe that down, and we'll rake any chunks of food, any chunks of chicken right onto our plastic wrap here, or you can do this over your trash can. So we've got that cleaned up, and it'll be ready to go for our next cooking experiment. Go ahead and put everything up, and you see, just take the plastic wrap and we throw it all away. I've been throwing everything away in my 5-gallon bucket with the heavy-duty trash bag in there. I always use this. Makes cleanup easier, and every trucker should have one of these in their truck. And as our chicken and dumplings continue to cool and thicken up, let me show you. I've got just a plastic box here, and I keep all my dry goods in it. I've got canned tuna. I've got a can of chili in here. I've got oatmeal. I've got prepped oatmeal. Breadcrumbs. Chopped pecans. Put all your dry goods in. I'll put my powdered milk in here. I'll put my flour in here. Pistachios. I've got a bar of 100% unsweetened cocoa, which makes a great part of your snack bag. And if you want to see how to make a really quick and delicious snack bag you keep up front with you while you're driving, check out my other video. I can keep all of my dry goods right in there for easy storage. Now, let's go ahead and also, I like to keep all my things organized. So this right here is where I keep all of my disposable bowls, plates, my Ziploc bags, my disposable spoons and forks, latex gloves, freezer bags, things I need for cooking, storing, and eating. I keep these all organized right here in this little box. My plastic wrap, and I can just store it away like so. And now about 10 to 15 minutes have passed. These chicken and dumplings should have thickened up some. Again, we left it off. They definitely have thickened up some. With the lid off, we're going to let these cool for an additional 15 to 20 minutes. By that point, they'll have thickened up the rest of the way, and they'll be cool enough to eat, and they're going to be delicious. Our chicken and dumplings have cooled down, they've thickened up, and now it's time to go ahead and eat. They look delicious, they smell delicious. It's going to be delicious. And look at that. Healthy, homemade chicken and dumplings right in your truck. Perfect dumplings, perfect chicken. It's delicious, all right? As soon as this cools down to truck temperature here, it's gonna be even thicker. I'm gonna then take it, portion it out into little freezer baggies and freeze them. We'll get about 5 to 7 portions out of this. Whenever we want one, we'll take it out of the freezer, microwave it, heat it up, and have us some great chicken and dumplings. I appreciate you watching, guys. And this just goes to show you, you don't have to be stuck buying overpriced, unhealthy food from the truck stops and restaurants out here. Swing into a Walmart, a grocery store. If you can't do that, take an Uber up there. Maybe you can drop your trailer and bobtail up there. You'll always save more money than eating out at these expensive places. You'll save your health too. And as always, I recommend, if you can stand up and eat, go ahead and stand up. Eat, take that opportunity to stretch your legs a little bit, stretch your feet around, and look at this. Be sure to check out my other cooking videos, my other meal prep videos, all of them for truck drivers, and I do it all right here in my semi-truck. And also be sure to check out truckhealthy.com, where you can find all these recipes and some great exercise tips, and also have some great exercise videos. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Be safe out there.